Hi guys, it's the real-time scenarios. One person, not only one person, everybody will write the exams. And so, if you want to store the one student details, how you the student got score, marks, everything. So, if you go for the primitive approach, we need to take multiple variables. We need to take multiple variables for storing all the student details. All the student details. If you like, we can assume in our class we have the 50 students. If you want to store the all the student details, so 50 students into 60, total you need 300 variables. 300 variables. So if you take 300 variables, so this is very I would say we need to give a lot of memory, so memory waste. And this approach is not recommended. This approach is not recommended. Why? Because for every value we need to take one variable. This approach is not recommended. For how to overcome this issue, will be having arrays concepts. Arrays concepts. So with the help of arrays, we can overcome this problem. We can overcome this problem. So in this arrays concept, the first point is it is the reference data type. It is the reference data type. And second thing is, beauty of array is we can store the values and retrieve the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. Like if you are writing the programs on the arrays, you should keep in mind one point. You can add the values based on the index positions. We can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. I am writing here. We can store the value. We can store the values. We can store the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. So beauty of array is index positions. We can add the values based on the index positions. We can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Index positions. And third point, array is static data structure. Static data structure. What does it mean by static data structure? Meaning, so at the time of at the time of initialization itself, we need to mention the size of the array. We need to mention the size of the array. If you mention the size of the array, so that is the final size. That is the final size. After, if you want to add one more values to the array, no, that is not possible. So that's why array is the static data structure. Static. First point already I would say we already discussed primitive data types, and we did the programs on the primitive data types as well. So in the reference data types, we have the concepts like arrays and strings and class. In the reference data types, we have these three. So now we are discussing about the arrays. Okay. Now we are discussing about the arrays. So array is the reference data type. We can store the values, and based on the index positions, we can store and retrieve the values. You can store and retrieve the values based on the index positions only. The beauty of arrays is the index positions. We can store the values, we can retrieve the values based on the index positions only. Arrays is the static data structure, meaning at the time of initialization only we need to declare. With the size. We need to declare with the size. So that's why array is the static data structure. That's why array is the I would say static data structure. Okay, fine. Is there any syntax for the arrays? Yes, we have the syntax. First syntax is array. I would say declaration. How will you declare the array? We'll try to understand. Array declaration. So normally, and here one more point, it can hold only similar homogeneous type of data. It can hold Okay guys, it can hold only homogeneous data. Homogeneous data meaning only similar data type it can accept. Similar data type it can accept. It can accept. So like, is there any syntax for the arrays? As we have the syntax. So first one is the array declaration. If you observe here, this is the data type. Int is the data types, and this braces meaning, if you mention the braces, that is the array. That is the array. That is the array. In our programs also, at the main method, we are mentioning the array, meaning the entire whatever the program have written, the everything, all the program will be stored in the form of array itself only. Okay. Wherever you mention the like this braces, the braces represent array. Okay, and variable name. Variable name. Variable name. This is the array declaration. This is the data type, and braces represent array and variable name. Variable name. This is clear. And next we have the array creation. In the array creation, so normally we need to create the object. How will you create? With the help of new keyword and int array. So array creation, we compulsory we need to mention the size. So at the declaration time, at the creation time, you should compulsory give the size. Size is compulsory. Okay. So array creation, new is the keyword and int is the data type. If you mention the I would say braces, that is the array, that meaning is array, and 5 is the size. 5 is the size. You can give any size, like if you mention the 2, then the array size is the 2, and if you mention the 5, then the array size is the 5. If you mention the 6, then the array size is the 6. If you mention the 10, then the array size is the 10. Then the array size is the 10. Okay, I am storing this object in one variable. Clear? This is clear. This much is clear. This is the array declaration. Array declaration, data type, and braces meaning arrays, and this is the variable name. Array creation meaning, first you need to create the object. And we are storing that object in the reference variable. Clear? And normally object will be stored in the, you guys know JVM architecture. For example, if you create the object, objects will be stored in the heap area. So array also JVM will treat it as a objects only, and it will give the memory in the heap area. You guys clear with this point? So arrays also will store in the heap area. Arrays will store in heap area. And JVM will treat it as a JVM. It treated arrays as a object. Okay. So in the, I would say, JVM architecture, objects will stored in the heap area. So arrays also JVM will treat as a objects, and it will store in the heap area. Okay. And this is the array declaration. Int is the data type, and this is the braces. This is the variable name. Okay. In the same way, array creation, and we are creating object for the array. The size, the creation size is mandatory. And then this object we are storing in the one reference variable. So you can write the both lines in one line also. This is the declaration, and creation also you can write in one line also. That is the array initialization. So array initialization, I can write the both lines in one statement also, like this: int braces. Here you can take a variable name, anything you can take variable name, and equal to new int, and you can take the size. This is the array initialization. You guys clear with these points? Array declaration and array creation and array initialization. So these are in different statements. I can write the different statements in one statement also. So this is the one statement. So this is the variable name, and if you mention the braces represent the array, and this array data type is the integer. So arrays can hold only homogeneous data types. If you mention the integer, this array can hold only homogeneous. In the main method, I am mentioning like public static void main. What does it mean? Public static void main, and string. Here I am mentioning the braces. And what does it mean? This array can hold only string values. In this case, this array can hold only string values. In this case, this array hold only integer values. You guys clear with this point? Okay. So I am simple take one file and we'll try to write programs on the arrays. Then we'll try to understand one by one. Then we'll get the clarity. So I create one file. So the file name you can give any name, and I would say array demo dot java. Okay, and simply I am opening this one, and I would say I would like to give the public class array demo. Okay, and here I would like to take the main method, that is the public static void main, and I would say string args. From here to here, this is the scope of main method. So this much is clear. Now what I am doing is I am initializing the variable. So for the syntax for the initializing the variable is int, I would say array, and variable name equal to new int. You need to give the size. Size is mandatory. At the time of a variable initialization, you should give the size. Size is mandatory. For example, if I give the size like this, so what does it mean by, now the array size is the 5. Reference, this is the reference variable. So this line is clear. What I did, this is the array. This array can hold only integer values, and this is the reference variable name, and this is the array object. Object size is 5. It can hold only 5 values. So the beauty of array is you can add the values based on the index positions only. So this, I have successfully created the one object, and I have stored that object in the reference variable. Now my requirement is I need to add values. How can I add? You can add the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. So instead of this variable name, you can take any name. You can take any name. So for example, here I will take VA, VA or VN. I'm taking VA. Normally, most of them are taking here ARR, but I am taking VA. You can take any reference variable. That is not a mandatory. The name you can take anything based on the requirement. You can take. Okay. Now I am taking the VA. What I am saying, this is the object. I am storing the object in the reference variable. So you can, beauty of array is you can add the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. So VA and 0 meaning 0th position of that array equal to, I need to store the value is 100. I need to store the value is the 100. In the same way, remaining also I would like to add. For example, so at the index, array index starts from the 0 itself. 0 itself. VA and 1, I would say equal to 101. 101. So in the same way, I would like to add the index position 4 and I would like to add the value 104. Control save. Control save. What will happen internally? So I will show you in the MS Paint. Then we'll get the clarity how the internally process is happening. When I am trying to add the based on the index positions, what is happening internally is it should be like this. I will open MS Paint and this is the MS Paint. Here I will if you observe here, what will happen internally is whenever you are created the array and it should be created, whenever you mention the size, so in the at the time of size it will be created with some size. The array should be created with some size. For example, in this case we have mentioned 5. In this case we have mentioned 5. So the array got created with size 5. The array got created with size 5. For example, this is the 1, I would say 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and this is the 0th index. 0th index I will be taken. This one is the 0th index. This is the first index. These are the index positions. These are index positions. These are index positions. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 4. This is not and take I will remove this one. Index positions. This is the array. This is the array. These are the index positions. The beauty of array is you can add the values and you can retrieve the values based on the index positions only. Based on the index positions only. So index position, this array index position is 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So we have added the values 100 and 101 and 102, 103 and 104. So the value should be, the values has the values, whatever the values we have added, the values should be added like this. Based on the index positions, we can add the values. This much is clear. This array size is the 5. This array size is the 5 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. The array size is 5. Like the values you can add based on the index positions. You can add the values based on the index positions. You can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Okay, this much is clear. Now I would like to print the value. System.out.println, system.out.println, system.out.println. So for example, if I want to print whatever the value has stored in the index position 3, so I would like, you can take that one and you can print that one. This one is clear what I did now. I have initialized, I have stored the values based on the index positions. These are the index positions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These all are the index positions. These all are the values. VA is the reference variable, and among those I would like to print VA3, meaning whatever the value I have stored in the index position 3, I want to print that one. So I am saving the file and I will compile and I will execute and see, we'll see what will happen. I am opening command prompt and java c arrays demo.java. so the file has successfully compiled java and array the demo. If you see 1 or 3, we are getting 1 or 3. Okay, this is clear. This is clear. Is this clear or any questions? Now I want to retrieve all the values. In this case, I was retrieve only one value. So instead of this one, I want to retrieve all the values. Whatever the values I have stored in the array, I need to retrieve all the values. How can I retrieve? How can I retrieve, man? So there we will use for loop and will for example for int I equal to 0 and I less than or equal to 4 and I plus plus. Here what I am mentioning, from here to here, this is the scope of, and system dot out dot println va array I. So I'm saving the file. So you guys observing like the previous program on this program, previous program has printed only one value, but my requirement, I want to print all the values. Whatever the values I have stored in the array, I want to retrieve all the values. How will you retrieve? So we'll see like what will happen internally. So simply I need to compile the file java c and array demo.java and array demo. If you see, whatever the values I have stored in the array, all the values I am retrieving. So what will happen here? The process is I equal to 0 is the index position. And if you observe here, this is the condition. So condition, like whatever the array index positions we have, based on the index positions we will take the condition. Okay, and then increment. So what it will do is, so every time, so first first it will print the 0th value and then it will check the condition and one value will increase. So instead of, now initially I is holding the 0 and then whenever the value is increment by 1, now I is holding the value 1. That 1 will check the condition, then it will print that statement. Again it will increment by 1. So the same, whatever the for loop we did in the previous classes, the same scenario. It is holding the 0 and it will check the condition. Condition is okay, then it will print the statement and it will, we have the increment, it will increase So instead of 0, whatever the increment value, now I is holding the increment value, and then check the condition and it will print the value. It will print the value. It will print the value. So clear, this is clear. I have initialized. I have storing the values based on the index positions. So array, the beauty of array is you can store the values based on the index positions only. You can store the values based on the index positions only. And my requirement is I would like to retrieve the data, whatever the data I have stored in the array. Whatever the data I have stored in the array, you can retrieve the data with the help of for loop. With the help of for loop. So this is clear. This is clear. Hmm? I meaning only index positions. This condition also you can write based on the index positions only, not length. Based on the index positions only you can write. And this is clear. In the same way here, in the same way, the condition should I write like this also. Length. Length is the property. So with the help of this length, we can find out length of the array. We can find out the length of the array. Length is the property. Length is the not method. Most of them are confusing. Length is the property, and with the help of this length property, you can find out the size of the array. Size of the array. So previous case I has mentioned the number, and in this case I am mentioning the property. So among those two, which one is recommended? Meaning this one only recommended. This one only recommended. For example, if the array has multiple values, or you don't know like the index positions and all, so among those two, this one is the recommended. va dot length is the recommended. So I am saving this one, and we'll see what we will get the result. Java C and array demo.java, we are getting the same result. We are getting the same result. So instead of previous case, we should use va.length. We should use va.length. This is the recommended. Length is the property. With the help of this length, we can get the actual length of the array. We can get the actual length of the array. This is clear. Clear, or anyone has any confusion? This much is clear. And so after this, so till now, like the same program we did 3. First we have tried to print with the values based on the index position. That is the first program. Second program, like for loop, has mentioned the condition based on the index positions, and we had tried to print the values. That is the second program. Third program is length property. With the help of length property, we are printing the values. This much is clear. Next point is we need to aware how to print the values with the help of for each loop. How to print the values with the help of for each loop. So in the previous sessions in the looping statements, so last classification is for the for each loop. First one is the while loop, second one is the do while loop, third one is the for loop, fourth one is the for each loop. Under the for loop we have the nested for loop. So for each loop, now my requirement is I need to retrieve the values based on the for each loop. How can I retrieve the values? So simply I will tell you that one. So this way also you can retrieve the values, but for each loop is the recommended way. For each loop is the recommended way. So how will you retrieve the values? So that is very simple itself. I will so this is clear. This is the main method scope, and this is the class scope. Here first you need to take the for keyword. For keyword, here this is the scope of the for. This much is clear. Now here what I am doing is, whatever the values we are storing based on the index positions, based on the index position, one person will do it. One person will do it. In the last session, in the buffered class itself, it won't directly read the data from the keyboard. It will need one assistant. In this scenario also, in this scenario also we will maintain one assistant. That assistant is, you can say, VA. So VA meaning it can hold all the values. Whatever the values we got stored in the values, those values we can give one person. That person is the reference variable. We can take any reference variable name, and that name is the int. This is clear. For each loop, what I am doing is, the values, whatever the values we have assigned, we have storing the values based on the index positions. All the values we are storing the one VA variable. VA variable. This person, what this person is doing, whatever the values is storing, that one by one, the values is giving to S person. S person. Now, if you try to print the S, so then directly we will get the output. System dot out dot println S. So compared to the previous case, what we did, like initialization, condition, and increment. So that way also you can get the values. That way also you can retrieve the values. And among those two ways, this way is the recommended. You guys clear with my point? You guys clear with my point? Whatever the values we have stored in the reference variable, for each meaning, it is taking one by one value. That value is printing. That value is printing. That value is printing. You guys clear with my point? So I will go here and array demo.java, and if you see, I'm getting the same output. I'm getting the same output. So this is the for each loop approach. For each loop approach is the recommended way. For each approach is the recommended way. Whatever the variable we have taken, that variable you should take here, and you need to mention the we need to mention the each symbol, and S is the one more reference variable. Whatever the values here, this main purpose is it is giving one by one value, and the same values it is printing. The same values it is printing, and we need to mention the data type also. We are storing the all values in the int. That's why I am mentioning the int. Okay, we need to mention the data type also. So this much is clear. We are retrieving the values based on the for each loop. We are retrieving the values in the for each loop also. This is clear. And after this, so without we are storing the values in multiple lines. We can store all the values in single line also. All the values in single line also. So how will you store? So like we had stored the values based on the index positions. You can store all the values in single line also. How will you store the values? Meaning, so you can remove all the things, and you can remove here also, and you can mention curly braces from here to here. This is the scope of curly braces. Inside the curly braces, if you mention the curly braces, meaning elements, we are storing elements. 100, we can mention 200, and you can mention 300, and you can mention 400, and you can mention 500. This is clear. Whatever the values you are mentioning inside the curly braces, it will treat it as the elements, and the values are internally the values got stored based on the index positions only. So this is clear. So previous case, what I did, I have stored the values based on the index positions, and till now in this scenario what I am doing, so instead of taking multiple lines, I have taken only one line. The same line I would say taking all the lines, and all the values I am taking the same line, and I would like to print the values. So I am going here and I am compile the file. Java C, compile the program, and java.in. If you observe here, 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. You guys clear with this point? So instead of taking multiple lines, we can initialize the variables in single line also. Whatever the values it has taken, so the 100 got stored in 0th position, 200 got stored in 200 position, and 300 got stored in 300 got stored in uh, like second. This is the 1th position. It is stored in the 2nd position. It is stored in the 3rd position, and it is stored in the 4th position. The value should be like stored in the index positions only. Index positions only. This is clear. Anyone have any confusion? Any confusion? And we have one predefined class also, that is the arrays. Arrays is the predefined class actually. For example, I will show you that one. We'll get the clarity. Generally, arrays don't have any methods, but array class is the predefined class. There you have the some methods. With the help of those methods, we will use and we will perform some operations. For example, if it will be available in java.util package. Java.util package. If you see, this is the class or interface. This is the class. If I open this class array, generally this arrays concepts don't have any methods. This is the reference data type. So in the reference variable, we are storing the values. We are storing the multiple values. Okay. For this concepts, we don't have any predefined methods, but we have one class, that is the arrays. Arrays is the predefined class. Some of them, what they are doing is, so they are mentioning the class. So instead of demo, they are mentioning the class arrays. The compiler will throw the error. Why? Because arrays already you have a predefined class. Now if you mention the same class name, then what it will do? It will throw the errors. Okay, you can take the file name. Instead of arrays, you can take any name like demo, test, anything you can take. There you can initialize and you can print like this. Arrays is the predefined class actually. Is clear with my point? This is the reference variable. This is the class actually. This is the class. Class is different, reference variable is different. This is the class. Class is having variables and methods. This is the arrays class. Here we have the some methods. Based on these methods, we will perform some operations. For example, if I scroll down, these all are the methods. Here we have some short method and hash code method, equals method, and I would say fill method.